Hi everyone, this is Jadip from Property Frameworks Buyers Agency, and today I'm going to talk about cooling off in different states. Now, the cooling off varies from state to state, and it's important that you know exactly about these details before you purchase a property. So, let's go through this state by state. Let's start off with Queensland. So, in Queensland, you get a 5-day cooling off, which means that you could sign the contract, you pay a 0.25 deposit, and then you get that 5-day period where you can do all your due diligence. Now, in Queensland, you could put in clauses like subject to building and pest and subject to finance. And let's say you do your due diligence within that 5-day period, and for some reason you're not really satisfied with the property, you could use the building and pest clause and point out any minor issue there and then get out of the contract and also get back your 0.25 deposit. So, you could make use of these clauses when you're purchasing property in Queensland. Now, let's look at South Australia. South Australia is quite different because you get a 2-day cooling off, and within that 2-day cooling off you could do your building and pest and whatever due diligence you want to do on the property. And within that 2 days you could just pull out of the contract for any reason. You could just change your mind about the property and pull out of the contract, and you don't have to pay any penalties at all. So that's really important to know, because that really gives you a lot of options in South Australia. Now let's look at Western Australia. Now Western Australia does not have any cooling off. So remember this, guys, there's no cooling off in Western Australia. But you could still put in your subject to building and pest and subject to finance clauses. But just take note that in Western Australia, the subject to building and pest is only for structural defects. So you can't point out any minor defects on your build and pest and get out of the contract. So if you want to pull out of the contract in Western Australia, for example, because you're not happy with the build and pest, but it's not a structural defect, then you will lose your deposit, and you may also have to pay penalties for coming out of the contract. In NSW and Victoria, it's slightly different. So you have 5-day cooling off in NSW and you have a 3-day cooling off in Victoria. But vendors are not very happy with the building and pest and subject to finance clauses here. So if you pull out of the contract during your cooling off period, you will lose your deposit. So that's about it, guys, for cooling off, and I hope you found this information useful. Thank you.